you're listening to this, we can't hear the intro.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
There it is. Okay.
All right, we just had to watch the line stop. At least
Everybody
my
went quiet, and I was like, "What's going on?" Oh yeah, I forgot the intro might be playing right now.
Tyler is here to be raging.
He's upset. He's angry right now somewhere.
Liam,
hello?
Did Tyler not tell you when he left on his vacation that he was bringing a microphone with him just in case anything happened?
Yeah. Did he not take one?
No, I think he did. But did he appear on anything after things happened?
No, I have not heard from him. Well, I've heard from him.
Yeah, what happened?
Not about life.
Probably no Wi-Fi.
Or he's avoiding the grind. Send out a quick tweet back at her.
Nice. On the beaches in
golf.
on the beaches in LA, the beaches in Vancouver, the beaches in Florida. I'm not sure there's beaches in Dallas, but there's good shit in Dallas, I assume.
Yeah, there's barbecue.
Oh, hello.
Jones barbecue.
And what?
I didn't see the foot massage though.
Jones barbecue.
We did also go, and again, if you've heard this before, I'll just say it again. We went to the world's worst Hooters in Dallas that I've ever been to in my life.
How many have you
Cold
been to
wings.
though?
Not many.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Probably
I like
3,
going.
4.
Yeah, there's the West Edmonton Mall one.
R.I.P.
And the only other one I can think of, I went to the one in Cancun to watch the Esks versus the I don't know which version of the Ottawa team it was in the Grey Cup. Maybe the Red Blacks, maybe the Renegades. I don't really remember.
What year?
I liked it better when there was 2 Rough Riders.
15 or so. Whenever they won their last one.
I don't think it was the Renegades. I think it's always been the Red Blacks. The Renegades were real bad. Real bad.
Yeah, this was
Do you remember the song Renegade?
by Eminem.
And Jay-Z?
Oh, I don't know. I it was by Renegade.
That's definitely who it is.
Renegade.
You should sing it to us,
Definitely
Liam.
not that though. I don't know what the
Liam, sing it,
Another one I'm
please.
thinking
Go
of.
ahead.
Renegade.
That was it. I did it. Renegade song.
And survey says
Big Red Machine.
And
There's quite a few. I'm assuming it's this one by Axwell.
You're a big fan of them?
No, it just
You're really against
came to
them.
my head. The song, it just seems like a weird song. Yeah, this is it.
that's been our CFL hour.
CFL Hour. Go
quickly
check it
I was
out at
moving away.
CFL Nation.
God, the CFL, what a disaster.
No, it's been a very exciting year so far.
Sorry, Edmonton Elks, what a disaster. No,
Yeah, that's
no,
no. I think
they're
last year was a
0-6.
disaster. This year it's a head scratcher. Last year was a disaster. This year they've been within one score of every game. They just can't figure it out. They keep making stupid penalties. They make stupid plays here, there, just enough to hurt themselves. It's kind of like what we've seen on the hockey team do in previous years, except for they didn't do it all at once the way this football team is.
So does it
How many
have-
games have you gone to?
Only 2, I think. I can only really make Thursdays and Sundays, so I will be there maybe 2 days from now.
Oh, I was going to go, but now I'm going to Ludacris instead.
Luda.
Well, we were considering doing the football game first and Luda after.
I could do both.
Yeah, I think so. It's one train stop.
Maybe I'll have a little Sunday fun day then.
And then we like to do like sit right first row, right behind the other team's bench, and
Just
then
yell at them.
I do my thing. Yeah,
All right.
Who are they playing, Rick?
it'll be Hamilton this week.
Nice.
Perhaps I'll see you at
And
Luda
Hamilton
then.
stink.
Like they're not very good, or they like have a
Just in
PO
general.
problem.
Probably
Yeah.
both.
It's the toilet bowl, is what
Yeah,
you're
it,
saying.
it definitely wasn't stinky when the Red Blacks were there, but I had some fun. There were a couple guys that probably did not like me.
Shocker.
If you've never gone to a game with Rick, it is an experience.
And this was like, first of all, I really enjoy going to these things because you can sit outside, which is fantastic.
Have a
Sit behind the opposition, so you're facing west. Therefore, you get the sun a whole game, 5 o'clock start, no problem. Lots of space, stretch out, cheap hot dogs.
You mean there's not a lot of fountains around you, Rick?
But do you not
No,
hate
there's-
it because, like, they suck?
It sucks to yes, but they were in the game the whole damn time up until the last play, which is very frustrating.
Yeah,
However, no, it does not. The losses in this do not weigh upon me the way that it would be for the Oilers.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that being fair.
Right.
Like, I would go to an Elks game and just kind of be there for the...
Yeah,
you know,
just be there,
sitting outside.
have fun, man. It's like going to wrestling or something. You just kind of get lost in the fun, yell, scream, do whatever you want. You want to
The
sit
top's
back.
closed now, no.
It is closed. Yeah, that
Is
used
it
to be my
weird?
favorite.
Is it tented off? Or, like,
No.
tarped off?
No.
Hmm.
No. I used to like sitting up there just because you get to see the whole field and you get away from everybody. This way I don't have to be like when you go to hockey games, you're crunched in there, right? Go to football games, I like to spread out, that chair has my beer, that chair has a hot dog or two. Like I do my thing.
Reminds me, I used to go, I don't even know if they do it anymore, but like back in the day when I was going to Nate, College Corner was so cheap and going to sit up there, and it was a blast.
Yeah. I mean, they do like the
Old
parties
IGA
now.
family huddle.
Yeah, and then they do like some sort of liquor rep parties, which are over in the corners where we used to get the free seats when we were kids for the return
The
game.
not whole game? Or
The return game on the
I know what you mean.
Labor Day Classic.
Yep.
Below the scoreboard.
What do tickets look like these days?
I usually get them. Sure, you can find them that way. You can just buy the cheapest one and sit where the hell you want. I think we spent $42 a ticket for first row.
Oh, not bad.
No, I won't. Yeah, that's fine.
I got to save my pennies to go to Ludacris, though.
A couple extra. Yeah. Do you have your tickets already?
No.
Yeah, you're not going to see much. I bet you the concert itself is sold out. But then you just need
front zone?
Then you just need to get in.
Because I was just going to go to that front zone.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be like packed.
For Luda?
Buddy, come on now.
All right.
You know who was there tonight?
Who?
Ja Rule.
I don't care about Ja Rule. It's murder. Baby girl, put it on me. Anyway, shout out to Ja Rule. Firefest coming to a neighborhood near you.
You should test some of the younger people outside that door there and see if they know some of the Luda songs.
No way.
We were playing area codes at work the other day, and one of the bartenders asked a couple of the girls, like, do you know who this is? And they just kind of scratched their head and said no.
I don't remember when this was. I'm going to say about a year ago. But on Real Life, Wanye asked Tyler if he knew who Ludacris was, and he goes, yes, but as an actor.
Oh, man.
So if you know Luda from Fast and the Furious,
It's a different era.
you know,
Yeah,
we are not the same.
we're not the same.
All right, let's get into it. Time for the delicious debate for our friends at Mill Woods Golf Course. Mill Woods Golf Course is the official golf partner of Oilers Nation. At Mill Woods Golf Course, you will find private club conditions for under $100. Greens are always immaculate. Relaxing driving range with music playing and lots of targets. I'm sure the rain is going to help make everything nice and green.
They have a sand pit you can hit out of, too.
On the driving range?
Yes, sir.
I heard that there's targets there because I read it in the copy.
There are.
Cool.
I'm believing it.
Fully stocked pro shop with lots of local lines. Be sure to follow Mill Woods GC for some below par content. Gang over at Millie loves golf, but they also love to have a laugh. You want to book a tee time? Go to millwoodsgolfcourse.ca and you can click book online. Go do a little golfing. The delicious debate for today. Hadn't really considered it. Liam, you got a delicious debate?
Nothing comes to mind.
All right.
Someone get
Fade
Tyler
over.
on the phone?
Favorite
Just ask
Luda
Tyler.
song?
Ooh. Move, probably.
Yeah, that's a
Mine's
good
probably
one.
that one with Usher.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think he'll come out and do his verse to Yeah?
Oh, I hope
it,
so.
right? Or his verse to Baby?
Little Wayne?
JB?
Little Wayne coming?
Wheezy's not there. I'm not there.
Touche.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
You already got tickets, eh?
No. So you can buy tickets. So the cheapest way to go was to buy the 10-pack through Costco to get into K-Days.
Yeah.
Which you get 2 10-day passes for $35.
Mhm.
So like $17.50.
Are you going to go 10 days?
No, it's almost over.
He's already
you go
been
10 days?
7. He's
No,
already been
I've not
7.
gone one yet.
7 out of 8 days. He's already been.
Out of the 10, how many did you go to?
0. I'm not a rides guy.
It's fair.
I'm not a rides guy, and then I have friends that are rides people, and I don't need that type of peer pressure.
Delicious
Do you-
debate. What is the greatest carnival ride? Go.
Oh, the spinning one.
Polar Express.
The train?
No, Polar Express is the one that goes backwards really fast.
The one you stick to the wall?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I'm thinking.
No.
I like
So
that
this one
The
is,
zipper.
The zipper
zipper,
rips up
yeah.
and down.
yeah. No, the Polar Express is just a whole bunch of cars in a circle, a little bit of a hill there, and you go backwards. Goes
Oh, that one.
I know what
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
doing. And
Okay.
they play the music
Oh, yeah,
real
really
loud,
loud. Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
Oh, you
lights
blast
are
it.
real bright.
Yeah. And
Okay,
the
now I'm with you.
centrifugal force throws you to one side.
Dan?
I haven't ridden a ride since Disneyland when I was like 8 years old. I rode the teacup ride, and that was the end for me. Yeah, like the one with like chip. Is every cup is
Yeah, of
chip
course.
from Belle and the Beauty
Teacups.
of the Beast.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm a giant baby.
They removed the slides this year, and I think at the end of the day, that's probably the biggest mistake they can make.
That's a horrendous mistake. I used to do that,
That
all the
thing
time
used
when
to
I
be
was a
there
kid.
No, I say 24/7. But that's every day of the damn year.
He's an
That thing was
icon.
there like 30 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We should put it somewhere in the city. If they're going to retire it, we should put it somewhere else and like
Yeah, we
bronze
just
it.
put random things, random places, anyways, right?
Yeah,
You could have it in the river valley and you slide into the river.
right off Accidental
dig it.
Beach.
Everybody's having a good time with that. Except
You could put it above Snow Valley and start even higher.
That's true.
Now we're cooking.
Oh,
You jump off the aerial park onto the slide and into the river.
I dig
And
it.
as you're going down the slide, there you see a baseball flying overhead because I launched it.
I
the other
love
side.
it. You're welcome, Travel Alberta.
Yep.
we're doing a
Yep.
great job of avoiding the topic here.
Well,
yeah.
We're giving Liam some time to think of one.
Well, do you need me to come up with it? The delicious debate today. I guess. What do we think of the Stan Bowman hiring as the next general manager?
All right, let's just get out of the way.
Yeah.
I was not at all surprised by the reaction. I think that the Oilers, I find it interesting that, well, okay, I'm going to start over. The Oilers have always had a history of giving people second chances. That has been the franchise since, when was Mac T, the 80s?
83.
So that's been the franchise for, 40 years. I just don't know that you couldn't have found a comparable person for the job that didn't bring along with it the noise we've been watching on social media.
Yeah, the hockey side, I think because of the month of July and what he's done this month, I will leave that up to Jeff Jackson. I'll go, you know what? I'm probably not the guy I would have brought in. However, if you think he's the proper hockey mind, and obviously he's going to work with him hand in hand. He wants to be very hands-on, I believe he said. He just didn't want the whole life of a GM where he's traveling with the team and stuff like that would affect his family life. So he's going to be involved in all the trades and signings and all that stuff. I will leave it up to him. If he thinks, if he's done enough this year that I won't sit there and second guess every move this guy makes just because it's Jeff's move. He's proven to me that he knows a lot. So I'll let this one go. And this is strictly just the hockey side of it again. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what he does. I think if it does turn into a Pete situation, you're not going to be the first or the last time this has happened. But the Pete situation would not have been so bad if we had someone to stop it before it got crazy. So I think so if Stan Bowman goes crazy with the 2017 summer type of thing where he starts moving all these goals and doesn't bring them in, then Jeff Jackson has to step up and get rid of him quickly.
If we're looking at the hockey side.
But this is strictly just the hockey side of things.
And it's impossible to ignore the other stuff. Just as a general manager, I was looking through the GM tracker website. Of course, my phone rings
Every single time. This is like
during
3
a
episodes in a
podcast.
row. It's awesome.
Unbelievable.
The trades you have
I'm
to.
just not inspired by
But the
his moves as a GM.
But the trades, we can't just look at the trades strictly in hindsight. What were the trades looking like when they were made? Like some trades, you're like, that was a good trade, and then
He
the
fleeced
player
Kenny on the Duncan Keith trade.
That was probably his best trade.
and
Since
going
Buffalo.
in, you saw the Seth Jones trade the day it was made, and you said it's not a good trade. We can't sit here and look at. I don't want to sit here and look backwards on it. Going into it, did you like that trade? And that's kind of how I want to deal with his moves. Going into it, did you think that he won that trade?
Wasn't it 2 first-round picks and Boquist?
And there might have been another player in there too.
So it was Blue Jackets received a first-round pick, which was a 12th overall pick, second-round pick, a first-round pick in either 22 and 23. Blackhawks received the 32nd pick, a 6th-round. Oh my! Why didn't they just put it in a damn sentence? It's just the trade is spread out
Here's
across
the cold
4
performer this week.
Oh my goodness. I mean, at the time, I think I liked the trade because they were getting the best player, but also they then just signed him to that ticket that he wasn't good enough for.
But when that ticket was signed, I think people were more thumbs up about it than thumbs down about it. No,
I don't know. I think people were like, that is an overpay.
because it then turned into 4 or 5 guys getting paid in the marketplace. One of them happens to play here.
Which is hilarious that the guy who caused the inflationary period for
now
defensemen
in
is now the
Edmonton.
GM here.
Yeah, it was Seth Jones, a first and a 6th. That's what Chicago got. for Adam Boquist, 2 first-round picks and a second. So I don't recall exactly, but just look. I don't even know what players were in that trade.
That's fair. And
I
at the time of the trade, Seth Jones was one of the best defensemen in the league, or was considered one of the better defensemen in the league.
One of the best up-and-coming.
That's fair. Okay, that's a perfect way of putting it. Yes. He did not pan out, which is a surprise to probably the majority of the league.
So I got it here, Liam. Seth Jones was traded from the Columbus Blue Jackets with a first-round pick in 2021 that turned into Nolan Allen, and a 6th-round pick in 2022 that turned into Dominic James, in exchange for Adam Boquist, a first-round pick in 2021 that turned into Cole Sillinger, a second-round pick in 2021 that turned into Alexei Hemosalmi,
Right.
and a first-round pick in 2021 that turned into David Jiricek. So there's the trade for you.
So, yeah, going into the day of the trade, I think it got a lot more praise. And then looking at hindsight, because Seth Jones has not been able to live up to the potential everybody had on him at the time, it's probably looked as more of a bad trade. But the day it was made, it was looked at as a good trade.
To me, the absolute worst one, and it's not close, that comes to my mind is Panarin for Brendan Saad.
An old Brendan Saad.
Brendan Saad.
Because Taves wanted him back.
Yeah.
Like, that is an all-world bad trade.
It was Panarin and Tyler Martin 6 to Columbus.
To be
for
fair, wasn't
Brendan
Panarin
Saad.
at least 42 at the time, though?
Yeah.
Second year in the league, 42. Yeah.
Off of his rookie season where he beat somebody. Yeah.
Traded
30.
Philip Deneau to Montreal.
Let Forsling walk or go in waivers.
Yeah.
That's a bad one.
Traded Teravainen with Brian Bickle because he signed Brian Bickle to a bad deal.
Yeah, that was a big deal, was it not?
The Brian Bickle deal, based off his 2013 performance in the playoffs, was $16 million spread out over 4 years.
So 4 times 4.
Yeah. Obviously, Brian Bickle had some health issues too, which was a stumbling block for him, but he was also a 4th-line player. And he also did a bad deal with Marcus Kruger.
What year was that?
2013 summer.
So during those couple years there, like 12 to 17-ish, the NHL was changing, though. The NHL was kind of losing their big guys like that and moving into more speed, more talent, where you kind of got rid of the fighters. The 4th-line guys kind of went away. You replaced them with, well, for a while, we replaced them with shootout specialists because, that's what we had to deal with. That's kind of the fad at the time. So the NHL was definitely changing at that point. I know our organization was definitely one of the last teams that kind of jump on that bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was a change at that time. So I mean, that's where some of those will come in. But at the end of the day, they're not great moves. However, at the same time, what are some of his better ones? If you're going to speak one side, we got to speak both sides, no?
Well, he obviously signing Taves, Kane, and Keith to their deals and getting those cups and just getting those stars in was good.
But he wasn't involved in bringing him there.
He drafted. Weren't they all 3 drafted?
He was involved in re-signing them. I didn't say bringing them in, but re-signing them.
He was
And
also
technically, if you
involved-
think about our GM right now, I want this guy to be really good at re-signing some of your star players.
He was involved in a debacle around, I think it was 2011,
Was that the San Jose thing?
where all the UFAs and RFAs went unsigned.
That was when
like
Dale
Chris
Talon actually
Versteeg.
got demoted.
Yeah. That was right. He was the assistant GM at that time.
He missed
They
the
mailed out
deadline?
the offers to the players instead of faxing it to them or their agents, which is what you're supposed
Because
to do.
wasn't it like Brian Campbell,
Chris Versteeg
Andrew
and
Ladd?
there was another one too.
Was it
Good,
Bufflin?
Andrew Ladd deserves that.
Boland maybe.
So we'll look
Anyways.
just through some of his trades here that he's done.
I was just trying to buy it sometime.
The most recent trade he made before being let go was he traded Nikita Zadorov to Calgary for a 3rd-round pick. He the day before that he acquired Marc-Andre Fleury for nothing, which was interesting because that was right after his Vezina, was it not?
Yeah, and they traded him, the 7th-round pick for a captain.
The Blackhawks acquired Tyler Johnson and a 2023 2nd-round pick for Brent Seabrook. It was a salary dump. Seabrook was retired at that point. Before that this was all in the span of 5 days also. Seth Jones, that trade. Earlier in that month, July 2012, that was Duncan Keith's trade. He traded Madison Bowie to the Vancouver Canucks for 2 way late round picks. Carl Soderberg, he traded them to the Avalanche for Ryder Rolston and Josh Dickinson. These people nobody knows. Oh, Matthias Janmark, current friend. He traded Matthias Janmark to San Jose for Nick DeSimone.
Listen, a couple people in this room can sit there and judge that move, and a couple people in this room, one may not be here right now, can't judge that move. They were trying to send him to jail.
I was going to say, what are you talking about right now?
Earlier this season, you guys were trying to give him away for nothing.
No.
That is true.
Nothing.
Me. Not me.
A bag of
Check
potatoes.
the tapes.
No
Check
tapes.
the tapes. Also traded Robin Lehner. Sent him to the Golden Knights from Malcolm Subban. Nathan Knoll, whoever that is. He traded Eric Gustafsson, former Oiler, to Calgary for a 3rd-round pick. Brendan Perlini, former Oiler, for a guy named Arugula.
Oh.
Alec
Spicy.
Regula.
Spicy.
Pretty close, Arugula.
Yeah.
Then there's Artem
Anisimov?
Anisimov for Zach Smith.
Anisimov?
Yeah, there's a bunch of very minor trades in here, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the deals that he was actually good at, to give him some credit, clearly not good at the home run, which the Oilers just don't need at all right now, and I hope Jeff Jackson can step in and help that. He did do a good job of bringing guys like Antoine Vermette into the team, Johnny Oduya, those kind of pieces.
Johnny will do you.
Those pieces that kind of fill small gaps, kind of like what they did with Adam Henrique last year. And I think that's one thing he'll be good at as the general manager on the hockey side.
Another Oilers connection. Stan Bowman is also the one who sent Brandon Manning to Edmonton.
Wow, he fleeced us twice.
For Drake Caggiula and Jason Garrison / Jay Down.
He did not fleece us in the Caleb Jones trade.
True.
People thought he did. Are they very, very, very upset about it? But at the end of the day, we won that trade. And if you look at a couple players on this team, they are extremely thankful for that move.
I think that the Brandon Manning transaction is an interesting kind of
I blame Pete for that
segue
one.
there.
He's the only person to blame on that one.
But that, I think, is kind of my issue with this signing of Stan Bowman. And from a Jeff Jackson perspective, again, I know I'm in a very comfortable position to be able to say this kind of stuff and criticize like this. But for me, it's that it came out right after the draft that this is something that they've been talking about for over a year. It's been rumored and that this team has been looking at Stan Bowman as an option. Even after they floated that out and they saw all the recourse and all the public backlash and outcry for that, they still went ahead and made this decision where Jeff Jackson pulled down his private Twitter account hours before doing it, knowing that the backlash is going to be there. Whatever the reason is, there was a reason to do that. And so I think that the fact that this took them a year to come to this decision is just disappointing and it's frustrating. And then you guys just go ahead and you list off his entire hockey resume. And it's like, man, we're going to be watching GMs get picked up after this that we're going to be wishing we had in our fold.
Speaking
not
of which,
necessarily, though.
still pending. 3 days. Come on, Jeff. Let me in.
You tried to get back in.
Let
under
me in,
the,
Jeff.
Yeah.
You didn't
So-
kick anybody out.
No, I didn't kick anybody out. He's not letting me in.
No, and that's fine. But yeah, that's a guy. That's the leader of your
What do you want to tell him?
organization, and
I got connections to him.
he's tucked
I
it
can
away.
send you.
Yeah, I didn't like seeing that from
I was left
Jackson
in here.
either, because it was clear that he knew what was going to come from this decision.
If
And
you're going to make the decision, own it.
yeah,
Yes.
and we'll get into the press conference too, I suppose. But the one part of the press conference that I really hated was actually Jackson, his comment, because he said that the question was, I'm paraphrasing a little bit on both ends, but the question was basically, how do you feel about fans' reaction to this?
Keep going, Liam. I'll get the quote for you.
And he basically said in not
They're
so
allowed
many
to feel
words,
what they will, but
it doesn't matter. But that's what he said. And I think as a general man, and I actually think Stan Bowman had a really good answer to that, where he said, I have to earn the respect back from the fans.
Stan Bowman's answer was significantly better.
Way
than Jeff
better.
Jackson.
But you can't say that. Jeff Jackson can't sit up there and look like, because the thing is
that not the truth, though?
But it doesn't matter.
Does it just sound bad? Because
Yes,
it is the truth,
terrible.
correct? It is the truth, correct?
So when
you should not run your team based on what the fans want. You should be as the
that
guy
I
in
agree
char-
with, but
you know,
that's not
and
what
I'm
you
just-
say.
But that's what I
Yeah,
took
it's
out of
not what he
that's
said.
what I took out of what he said.
Sorry, go ahead, BM.
I transcribed the press conference for Twitter, and without a doubt, Liam, that quote is the one that erupted with fans the most. He said, I think fans are entitled to their opinion. They have opinions about firing coaches and making trades. I think the decision to bring Stan in is in the best interest of the organization. Give him a chance. I'm not worried about the backlash.
Just a question. What there is bad?
That's a false equivalency right off the bat.
What is?
Fans have an opinion about firing head coaches and getting rid of players.
Is that
yes,
not true?
Of course they do.
Yeah.
But this is not the same thing at all, is it? And he knows that. He's like being mature adult in the room here, Rick. He knows exactly. No, I know. But for Jeff Jackson there, like he can't just say, well, fans have an opinion about other stuff and they're going to have an opinion about this too. It doesn't matter to me. That's different. It's different. And so that's why people are upset about it.
I think that if Jeff Jackson had said a different version of what Stan Bowman said, the reaction wouldn't have been.
Do you have the quote from Bowman? Because it was way better.
Keep going.
He said, essentially, I have to earn everyone's respect back.
Mm-hmm. He gave about as good, to that specific question, he gave about as good of an answer as you could ask for.
And the thing that bothered me too about that answer from Jackson is I just think back to the Knobloch hiring. And he just seemed like so arrogant while he was sat there. Maybe that's just the way he comes across. And I don't know him. Obviously, maybe he's not like that. But he just seems like sometimes he sits there and he's like, this is my team and I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. It doesn't matter what you do. And I think it's disappointing because throughout the playoffs, this city proved like how great this fan base can be and how much support. Like they had other players from Florida talking about how great it was here. And then to say a quote like that, where it's like fans can have this opinion, but quite frankly, it doesn't matter. And I thought that was just a little bit unfair.
I suppose I just can't understand. Like I don't see how that's incorrect.
I just wish
I wish I had more control over the team too.
I don't want control over the team.
I do.
Well, yeah.
I want to have my 2 cents. But at the end of the day, I do realize that I don't.
Yeah, I'm not letting this decision keep me up at night by any means, because at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it? But it is in the moment, it was frustrating. Just to be like, really, we're going to go down this path again? But then, to be fair to Bowman, I think you hear what he had to say in his press conference, and it was a bit more reassuring. I don't know if that's the right word, but just a bit more comfortability.
He said all the things you'd want him to say. So the quote is when Stan Bowman was asked the same question that Jeff Jackson was kind of like, I don't give a fuck. Bowman's answer was actually legit. He goes, I understand and I respect people's opinions. One thing I've learned over time is that it's very hard to talk people into things. So I'm not going to make an argument to feel a certain way. I respect how everyone feels. It's going to be my job to win them all over. It's going to be about actions, not words. I understand where they're coming from and I want to earn their respect over time. Much better answer.
So do you think there's any version of Jeff Jackson taking the less detailed road to allow Stan Bowman to the detailed road? Like if Jeff Jackson went out there and said something a little more the way Stan Bowman said, and then Stan Bowman went out there and said what he said, which is would have been almost a mirror.
But also, just one thing, these questions went back to back.
Sorry?
They were like Jackson was asked that question like at one side of the interview, and it wasn't like this is a question for both of you. The question that Jackson quoted was directly questioned to him. Yeah. There's a bunch more questions, and then Bowman gave that answer.
Okay,
so it
but
wasn't like Jackson. They sat there next to each other and were just like, "Oh, he said that. No, I'm going to say this." You know what I mean?
Yeah, but do you think there's any point or any possibility that Jeff Jackson went into this going, say, I'm not going to get into too many details. I'll allow you to do that. For the questions that come to me, I'll stay a little more on the perimeter and let you dive in, because if I dive in and you dive in, it almost feels a little too put together, or you're saying it because I said it.
No, I really just think they gave a press conference, and I think that they both presented themselves with their answers that they had.
Yeah, I think too, if you look back at some of the interviews, Ken Holland, who's quite good at this, and I thought McDavid did it well too, is when the tough questions came, and obviously Bowman was going to ask me tough questions, and he answered them. But there was a moment too when they were asking, I can't remember what it was. I think it was about the second victim in all of this.
Yeah, asked him about it.
And Jackson referred the question to Bowman. And I just thought that was
so this was the minor, correct?
Yes, and I thought that was interesting. Instead of just being like, I am the man in charge here, being Jackson, I'm going to take it over, because very different situations, but we saw it in the playoffs too. I think the question was directed about Nurse, and
It was asked to Stu,
and McDavid was like, "No, I will take this one."
Yeah, Stu was asked,
Holland,
and Connor jumped in.
And Holland would do that too, and I just thought that was interesting. This is like Jackson, and maybe he's just not good at interviews. Quite frankly, that has not been his job. Now it is becoming his job of the position. But as an agent, you're not sat in front of media taking questions often, are you? Or ever. So maybe he's just a bit uncomfortable with it. Maybe I'm being harsh in that regard.
Less training.
Yeah, but I just think it's like there's some moments in there. It's like support him a little bit in this. Like give him a hand. And Bowman, to his credit, answered all the questions.
All of them except for one that he took a hit on, and it was the question from Rick Westhead himself, where he was asked directly if he had contacted John Doe 2, the high school player sexually assaulted by Brad Aldrich, after he left the organization. Bowman's answer was, anyone negatively impacted, I feel for them, and I certainly wish they didn't go through it.
But
That was the one where he did that as there's an NDA or something, or was that the other player?
No, that's the second player, I believe.
from Chicago.
The second Chicago player. But I believe with the high school, was it a high school?
This is a high school player.
Because it was a minor, he doesn't have the ability to figure. And I don't know if I read that on Twitter. I listened to the first little part of the.
But that could have been his answer too.
And I that's why I definitely not smart enough to come up with that on my own. So I definitely was fed this somehow, whether it had been maybe something Carrie has said on the radio after, maybe it's something I read on Twitter. I don't really remember. Maybe, yeah. And obviously, if you didn't hear it, then it wasn't a part of the presser. But yeah, something along the lines of because it was a minor, his name would not been out there. Therefore, you would not been able to. You would have had to probably go in a longer route to get there. I think eventually. I don't know if the adults between the two would have allowed it to happen or not.
Well, I think if you think of like,
but I mean, at least you could have said something along the lines of, because it was a minor, the name wasn't out there. Yep. We did what we could to try and figure out who. I wrote a generic letter to victim number, whatever the heck, and fired it out there. But yeah, because of the minor, I was never able to put it together.
I think just to wrap it up, and we'll move on to another Bowman topic I got, but I just kind of felt for the segment of the fan base who have kind of experienced some kind of abuse in their life, be it personally or somebody they know. I just feel like if that was someone in that case, having this happen with an organization you love must have been a pretty tough day for you.
Yeah.
So I just kind of feel for all those people.
And this is probably not very helpful, but this person, like Stan Bowman, did not do anything criminally.
And both.
Right? No, that was going to be my next part.
Yeah.
He did not do anything criminally, right? So he did not do anything criminally. Him and 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, however many other people are involved in this, did not handle the situation properly.
Which Bowman also admitted, to be fair.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's exactly what I want to get to, though, is that he did not do to the victims what that other guy's, and his name is not important in this. But he didn't do that. They just did not handle it properly. So I just feel.
But if you phrase
they're putting way too close. They're putting these two beings way too close to each other. One person's a terrible human being, and the other one made a terrible mistake.
But if you phrase it another way, you can say it's a guy that was in charge of an organization, the head of an organization, and he didn't stop sexual assault from occurring within his organization. And that's
but you're not going to be able to do that, though. There's going to be things out there that are going to happen whether you try to or not.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Like even if he's out there trying everything in the book, something can still happen.
But he didn't.
And you can't fault him.
I hope he's never presented with another opportunity to not do it. But that's the scary part, is that he could be in this organization.
That's where I'm a little bit different, because so I think my opinion on getting that second chance, I left it up to the victim and Sheldon Kennedy, who is very, very deep into this whole situation. And because they were both, and I'm a person who does not think all opinions on a subject are equal. I think some opinions are worth more and some opinions are worth less. Mm-hmm. In this situation, because Chris Beach... Kyle Beach. I did that before. I don't know why I keep doing that. I'm sorry. Because Mr. Beach and Sheldon Kennedy both have supported the position. That's kind of at the end of the day where I will put my opinion, I guess.
Fair to a point. My thought, just to kind of be a little bit different on it, is because those two, and obviously Kyle Beach was tied to it. Sheldon Kennedy's, a voice in that space. Just because those two say it doesn't necessarily make it okay for people who have experienced it.
No, but this particular, and that's fine. They're allowed to feel, and I'm not saying that they should be changing their feelings. I'm just saying my opinion in this situation will be in line with the victim and Sheldon Kennedy, who is, I don't even know how to, he's the czar of that type of stuff. That guy.
Graham James was a piece of shit.
1,000%. But I mean, Sheldon's dealt with his own stuff, and then the stuff of probably thousands of other people. Like that dude is as close to a saint as that's as close as sainthood as you can get. I think
dedicated
in this world.
his life to helping.
Yeah.
In a very difficult world,
as much as it's impossible to transition off a topic
listening
like
to those
this.
stories and stuff has got to be absolutely
Awful. So anyway, I feel for everybody who's affected by it in one way or another. I can understand why your favorite team making a decision like this would be impactful.
Yeah,
but
I was just going to say, I hope Bowman
continues what he's been doing.
Takes what he's learned and continues to have a positive impact on.
Yes,
It's
like Gregor wrote,
the community in general.
No,
Gregor wrote on the on the website the other day on Oilersnation.com. It's okay. The words are there. Said the words. Now the actions.
Keep working with that group. The respect group, I believe it's called.
Yeah, I think so.
Keep doing the things you were doing, because obviously the other two gentlemen said his time off has been productive, and not in front of limelight. Not, hey, look what I'm doing over here. Let me back.
Yeah,
he did it very quietly, very proper, I suppose. I'll use. But yes, now I want to see him continue and spread it wider.
I want to talk about. We'll stick with Bowman, but we'll go on the ice. How much pressure do you think is on Stan Bowman as the Oilers GM walking into a situation where the team that he's coming to was 2 goals away from winning the Stanley Cup?
Very little.
You don't think there's a lot of pressure on him to get them over the hump?
Nope, because I don't think it's on him. The moves have been made already. There's only one move left to make, I think, on this roster, and that's figuring out the Cody Ceci spot, whether it be the second right defenseman or the third right, depending on how way you want. I don't think there's only one spot to deal with. And after that, that's why I didn't think they needed an experienced GM this year. I think they literally could have signed anybody off the street, because at the end of the day, the GM now is just getting the plane tickets ready and doing all the GM stuff that are outside of player moves, because I don't think there's any moves to be made here.
You think he buys plane tickets?
I don't know. They do something. The GM does something.
He's got his own
oversee. Write the check or something. I don't know. Just sign the check. I don't know exactly what they do, but
and see, I think there is a lot of pressure on him because the expectations in the city are sky high.
I think pressure's just all over the organization. I think everyone's going to feel it.
The players 1,000% have pressure, but Bowman doesn't have to do anything right now.
Yeah, that is something that benefits him.
Bowman's only
does come into the team.
If Bowman does one thing in the next 365 days, and that's sign Leon.
I was just going to say we're a week away from the Leon signing.
Which
so
sounds like that might come sooner rather than later.
I guarantee.
Why?
Don't get me excited.
Why do you say that?
Didn't Bob said it? Bob knows.
Bob who?
Bob
Hartley.
Stoffer.
The
What do you say?
announcement.
Do you have a paraphrase quote?
Yeah, I can make up one.
Sure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oilers Now. Leon Draisaitl should sign in the next few weeks. Bob.
Stop it.
Whoever the GM was going to be announced, it makes sense for them to come in and get the positive PR
My
right
tinfoil
after.
hat. You want to know where my head went when
I have
I
one
saw
too.
when the news was Stan Bowman? I woke up and I look at my phone.
I was
and
surprised.
It's buzzing.
Yeah.
And I go, holy hell. I thought the Draisaitl extension was going to come the next day to quiet everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, mine. So I'm along the same lines, except for mine was that Jeff Jackson's already put together the Cody Ceci move. He's like, you know what? Hold on a second here. We'll get Bowman in here.
Get a rubber
give
stamp
it a couple
on it,
days,
yeah.
and then we'll toss this little softball to Bowman and let him head over the fence.
Yeah, just tee him up.
Yeah.
The one quote, sorry, not to go back to the press conference, but also to go back to it directly. When they were like, we don't talk to the players in these scenarios.
Yeah,
That's a
come
big
on.
fat
You
lie.
should just lie to us.
Yeah, that was, well, there's a couple of things I thought
Just
about
I
that.
don't care what the fans do. Private account.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that came to mind in that. One, I think he's telling the truth in the sense of, I don't think the players do make those decisions.
Of course not.
They don't
don't
make the
think
decision.
They have
They do. We got a totally different problem.
Yeah, and I mean, if anyone would know what Connor McDavid is thinking, probably his agent. Probably his agent.
He
probably
definitely
knows.
talked to them and said, "Hey
Yeah.
guys, this is kind of where
That's
we're
what I
leading
mean.
right now. What are your thoughts?
Do
Do
we
either
think?
one of you want to trade right now? No, okay, good. We're probably good with that then."
Hangs up before they answer.
Yeah. But he said that so that when then they show up to body armor camp, I guess it's not BioSteel this year, right? So when they start showing up in front of cameras and people are like, "Hey, what do you think?" They're like, "Well, man, I had nothing to do with it."
Yeah, I think it is to shelter them a little bit, but there is
1
no
billion
way.
% they knew.
There's no chance that they picked up their phones that day and were like, "Damn, Stan Bowman's our new GM." Like they would have, like maybe they didn't know when it was officially gonna happen, but there is no doubt in my mind that there had been the conversations like, it was either this guy or this guy. One of them was Bowman, one of them was whoever. It was probably along those lines. I'm sure they didn't have a direct impact on it though.
There's no way they didn't know.
No,
They
there's no
100%
way.
knew.
So yeah, no, Jeff Jackson, we know you were lying, right to my face, kind of.
But I don't mind that kind of
I
lying
also
because
don't
that's like the
expect them to
big
tell us
brother,
the truth
like looking out for the little one type thing. So I'm okay with that one.
Yeah. Anybody else think that Stan Bowman's got some pressure on him? You can't just be me, right?
I mean, there's definitely pressure, but it's not. You're not coming in here like trying to build this team. You're coming in here and
I think he's got the most important part of the team. Winning.
yeah, but it's if this
build's
team, if
been
you
done.
take this exact team and they do or something or don't do something, I will not be giving any credit or any blame to Stan Bowman.
I'll give blame. I blame everyone.
I will be looking
what
at
I
this
do.
team at exactly what I did 2 years ago in the playoffs when things didn't go well.
It's
I
just
blame
was,
Duncan
I was
Keith.
not saying it was on Ken Holland. That when we lost to Vegas, people are like, "Oh, Ken Holland." Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that
No,
one.
Ken Holland built a Stanley Cup contending team. The guys with the skates on their feet were to blame
I
for
think-
losing to Vegas.
I think the first time that Stan Bowman's going to feel pressure this year will be at the trade deadline, depending on what the team has done up until that point.
Well,
if
we're
we
gonna be
have
74-0 at that point.
if we've had another
Fuck yeah.
loss to San Jose and a losing streak there, maybe he has to make some kind of
If-
panic tweak. But
if
otherwise,
we have some sort
Yeah.
of start or some sort of thing like we did last year,
yeah,
then yes. I don't think very many people are seeing that coming. So
no,
if things just kind of go the way we expect them to and they have some sort of 55 to 60 win season,
he doesn't have any pressure.
no, I think it's relatively
It
easy.
will be interesting if, God forbid,
Oh, no,
the
don't
Oilers
say
have
this.
the
Why
start of
do
the
you do-
season they
don't-
did last season.
Oh, I don't
And
mind
everyone
that.
was, but everyone was calling for Ken Holland, and obviously very different. Holland was in his 5th year, Bowman will be in his 1st. Like if that happens, and hypothetically he doesn't do anything until the season, whatever, until the deadline, doesn't make any moves for the time being, I guess. And then it's just, oh, you didn't get rid of CC, you didn't figure out the Kane thing, and then like, well, that's when you'll know if he's going to be under pressure or not by the fans.
Yep.
I mean,
Winning
there's
solves.
definitely pressure. The way they start 0-1 and probably going to be some upset people out there. I wouldn't mind.
0-1?
Yeah,
Get out of here.
exactly. I wouldn't mind them going 1-9 to start the year. Just
You
because.
wouldn't?
What?
You watched the house come down just down the street.
So this was a Bet365
Oh, we're
insert
skipping
right
the
here.
bet. Okay.
Yeah, no, this was strictly for gambling purposes. If they start like that, I think their number goes up a bit, and I can make some potential cash off this. However, I don't see that happening at all.
Plan.
Thank God.
Bait and
Rick's got a
switched us
plan.
there. Had me in the first half. I was screaming.
I was just like, I remember you watching that building come down just
Yeah,
down
it
the
was
street.
cathartic.
It was. Just thinking about you watching was cathartic.
No, they're like 7 minutes.
So, Fake Bob gave his timeline on the Leon extension.
Yep, allegedly. Sorry, Bob, if you didn't say that. I'm sure it was you.
I think he probably guaranteed it. What did Trina's Oil say?
Who?
Trina's Oil.
As per.
Do you guys still think that those are the same person? Because I
Yeah.
do not.
I do.
She has never said anything correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ever.
there it is. It wouldn't surprise me if Leon were to sign an extension shortly. Bob Stafford with a little update on Leon Draisaitl.
7:01, July 24th.
Are they listening to this show live? and
24th.
They thought you're Bob.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. When was the press conference?
Wednesday.
Oh, so he's probably trying to put a little.
He's just like a little. I see people are very
A little
yeah,
Of
pillow up.
course, have to
the-
cover up the stink. I'm sure this was always the plan.
I don't know that I've
when
seen.
that's Look, if you're doing something, just strictly business talk, if you're making a move that you know is going to be controversial to your fan or your
It's
base
a shit
or something
sandwich,
like that,
man. You got to put some mustard
then
on
you
that
have
baby.
to have you have to have a plan on how to like put a happy ending on it.
And also, it was the day of the Sportsnet or the Spec golf tournament, so
Yeah, a
all
bunch
the
of the
Oilers
media
media
were-
were scheduled to go
tons.
golf that morning.
Spec tournament was on Wednesday.
Yeah,
It was literally
Wednesday
that
morning.
day. It like everything was amazingly perfectly planned. It was immaculate.
The 7:30 news dump.
Yep.
The,
How did the tournament go then?
I don't know.
Some
one
of
would've been
the
there.
media members didn't show up to the press conference because they were golfing.
Yeah, because they were golfing for Spec, which was credit to those guys.
Hilarious.
Like
Well, I mean,
I don't
I-
think
Well,
I don't
'cause
think
what-
our boy Willis was there.
Spec wasn't there.
How much time do you think we had between drop, like first knowledge and press conference?
7:30 a.m.
7:30 it
So
came
about
out.
3 hours then, right?
And then
'Cause
you would have
pressers-
gone.
You had to decide if you were going to stick around at the golf tournament or go
Fuck,
to your
I just had
job
a really good hole.
or go to
Damn
your
it.
job.
That's it. I've worked the Spec golf tournament a couple times, so I'm just. That's one year I wish we were at. That would have been
Right?
Yeah, of all the years that you
I would
weren't
hey,
there.
boy, yeah. Like, how do you guys tape things on my phone here? I'll get all sorts of reactions. Here.
Holy cow. Well, Leon Draisaitl extension coming soon, I imagine. Got to
Allegedly.
quiet the noise.
The people.
That'll
that
be
the quote
so
in the
much
next
more than
handful of
quiet.
days?
Short. He just said shortly.
So the next handful of hours.
Wednesday morning.
Could be
Book
today.
it next week.
Could be today.
Do you think it was weird at all that do it on wedding week?
Yes.
Everything is wrestling.
Well, Jeff's probably got to go.
No,
Yeah, but if you do it next Wednesday, at least the wedding's over.
it gets piled
Connor's
on
in-
now. It
Connor's
gets
in
layered
Tahiti
on.
or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
Watching
now
the surfing.
or do you drop this, and now you're like, hey guys, can you start dropping some like videos and stuff of the wedding and like it's.
now Lauren's uncle Gus has to ask Connor about it when they're having toonie bars.
Gus knows damn well to stay away from Connor.
So
guys-
Jeff
you guys-
said he didn't tell you guys. Is that true?
Did you see the pre royal wedding golf today?
No.
Boosh, Folk Daddy,
Oh, and Broberg.
and yeah.
Broberg, by the way, this came into my mentions, wearing a Cincinnati Bengals hat. People are trying to help me pick an NFL team for this year.
Oh, hey, if you want to pick one, we just signed our quarterback today. We got 4
Yeah.
years of Tua.
How
You
many
can call it
playoff-
Oos.
How many playoff wins does he have?
Well, the whole team has done.
Wow.
I think you should hold out for NFL Europe.
Would you like to go over the injury report for last game?
No.
It was terrible.
Let's go over
They honestly
things that
they
benefit my
asked
argument only.
they asked me to be a pass rusher. That's how bad it was. They literally brought it. So this is the end of the year. Dudes literally got guys off the couch who didn't do anything all year because we were so thin there. And
So
it's not much better right now.
I got
Those guys are still hurt.
I won't lie to you. The Dolphins are being heavily pushed as the team that I should hitch my wagon to.
Let's go. I
Because
got a jersey
here's
for
my
you.
criteria, Rick.
Yep.
1, cool uniforms.
Oh, I love it. We got probably the best.
2,
Second best.
I want at least
Lions
a
are
couple
not
of
better.
fun players that I can cheer for. And
Oh,
get
buddy,
behind.
come on. Tyreek.
3,
We have the fastest team in the world, too.
Play in a
thought Stan
destination
Bowman was a
city.
bad guy.
Oh, Miami, you want to be there. In
4.
fact, you've been there.
You ever been to Detroit?
potential to be good.
Vegas.
Push it for the
5.
division.
Vegas is everything here.
Fun mascot.
Vegas Raiders.
Buddy, we had a
Yeah.
fucking movie made about our mascot.
That's another
Free
tie.
Willy?
Snowflake.
My first
That explains it.
knowledge of an NFL team was Ace Ventura 1.
Yes.
Dan Marino got
Grab you
captured.
some
And
isotoners.
Snowflake.
how
The
many
only
of
problem
those do you
was
think
Vegas
Detroit-
didn't have a team back then.
Yeah, those
Detroit has been pushed.
Yeah.
The most heavily pushed teams so far, without question.
The Saints, right?
The Saints, the Packers,
Oh, you do not
Not
want
the
to be a
Packers.
Packers.
the
Not the
Bears.
A
Saints.
cheesehead.
The
Raiders.
Bears are.
Raiders comes with a new baseball team soon.
Raiders might be fun.
Raiders is also one, and because people like Baggedmilk, we know you love costume parties, like Oilers playoff games.
There you go.
Raiders.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. What were
Yeah,
the
but it's not the
criteria
It's
again?
not.
It's
the
all the
Also
same
love
as
80s
Oakland.
hip hop.
The Vegas
It's not
Raiders are
Oakland.
not the Oakland Raiders.
That's true.
Those dudes are not traveling. The scary dudes with the Legion of Doom shoulder pads. No. They do. You can't
not
tell
mad.
me
They're not happy.
Mark Davis wants those guys in his brand new stadium.
For the first year,
No
Rick,
chance.
for the first year, their branding was all Raiders. Never said anything about Vegas because they wanted to bring some of the Oakland fans over.
Yeah, the nice ones with the fat wallets, not the scary
Yes.
ones with the face paint
That's
and
fair.
the LOD
Yeah.
shoulder pads.
That's true. They need to put some more barbed wire up outside that stadium
Yes.
in Vegas.
Good.
It was a terrible. You could
That's the
not
thing.
go into Oakland and If you went into Oakland and you did not sit in the black hole first, they don't have the black hole in Vegas, do they?
No.
Nope.
Black hole was where all those guys were. That
But
was
they
the
do
scary
have
spot. Where if you're cheering for the other team, you get as far away possible from the black hole.
They do have a super flush at the Vegas stadium where they can flush every single
big
toilet
toilet?
in the entire stadium at once.
Can I tell you a few teams you shouldn't
Shut up.
consider cheering?
I'm not
Yeah,
joking,
please.
they
I'd
did
love
it.
to.
What kind of button is that?
They did it when we were there during the tour.
I'd love to eliminate some teams. Okay, I'll tell you. Actually, can I tell you who I've eliminated?
Yeah.
Cowboys don't care.
No.
That's fair.
we're
There
on
is
my
Because
list.
to me, the
ultimate letdown.
Dallas Cowboys are the Toronto Maple Leafs of the NFL.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
2, and I'm sorry, Captain Felton, I can't see myself cheering for the Green Bay Packers.
No. Yeah.
No.
They're just one of those
3,
teams.
I don't want to jump on a bandwagon. KC Chiefs are out.
Yeah.
4, Patriots out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tom Brady years, they annoyed me as a viewer.
All those guys are gone now, so there's nothing fun
they're
about the
gone.
Patriots.
And then the 5th one, I don't remember who I
Was it
was.
the Seahawks?
Oh, yeah, Seahawks, because too many Canucks fans cheer for the Seahawks.
My
They're
dad's
way
favorite
too
team
close
is
to
the
Vancouver.
Seahawks. So here's a few other teams you should eliminate. The Jets.
Yeah.
New York Jets, just because they're terrible.
They think
They're
thought
very
of way
much
too highly.
they're very much the same as the Cowboys.
Yeah.
They're terrible, and they're like, we're gonna win it all this year.
They never win anything.
No.
I would eliminate Cincinnati. I think they're just, for me, they're just the most.
Are there any Bengals
Unnecessary.
fans here?
No.
Okay, good. Yeah, they're not. They were a flash in the pan. They're still.
Is
They
Rick
look
afraid
cool.
of Bengal
They
fans?
look cool. Well, I don't know. They just look cool, and they will not fulfill their destiny.
Denver.
Yeah,
Lame.
that's the only reason I keep Denver in the maybe pile is the former owner of the Denver Broncos, Pat Bowlen, was from Edmonton.
Fair enough. The Commanders.
No, I don't even like the name. Already out.
Lame name.
Terrible, but I don't see that
They were
name
the-
lasting more than 4 or
they were
5
the
years.
Skins,
You just
right?
might not like the
And I
full
know-
name.
If they were still Washington football team, I might consider
There
it.
you go.
And I know this name has been tossed around the office a little bit, and
Yes.
there's been a couple of guys trying to get you on the bandwagon.
Yep.
Don't cheer for the Chicago Bears.
No, they're
Yes,
always
I'm
a
being pushed on
letdown.
the Bears.
Down.
They're right there with the New York Jets.
I actually have 3 from the NFC South. Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and Carolina can all kick rocks.
Yeah, none of those were considered.
All
Carolina.
of them
But
lame.
see that. Hold on a sec, because Carolina
Buffalo.
has the Edmonton
Yeah,
Edmonton.
Chuba Hubbard is great,
Chuba's there.
but
Atlanta.
they're lame.
Atlanta may take a step up this year if you start using Kyle
But
Pitts.
that's not
Tampa
part of
has
the
a
argument.
boat in the stadium.
They're just lame franchises.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
And then I would consider all the teams in the NFC West: San Francisco, the Rams, Seattle, and Arizona.
Not Arizona. You.
San
this is
Francisco is
so
being
Arizona.
pushed heavily,
but they're
but they're also, I feel like, a bandwagon team.
they're a bit of a bandwagon team.
Yeah, and they might be in trouble. They might be at the end of their run too. They may have to take a little dip back.
Yep, totally.
Do you have a pitch for the Lions that you'd like to send?
They are
Love
a
your
very fun team to cheer for because of how
Frustrating to it.
relatable it can be, I guess.
They're the average man.
They are the average man.
Do you like winning on Thanksgiving? Because you won't.
They have a very good underdog story. I don't know how much longer
It's
gonna go
running
on
out of
for.
underdog.
It's probably got maybe another year. I do
Maybe.
think this year will be a letdown. But St. Brown is great. Their running backs are very entertaining.
If
And
they
they
get the
just seem
ball.
to find these characters from places. And Dan Campbell literally said he was going to chew off everyone's kneecaps.
Dan Campbell had his first coaching job with the Miami Dolphins as an interim coach, and I was actually kind of upset when they did not keep him.
He's a good guy.
Although I'm very happy where we are now,
How about joining you on the Dolphins team?
buddy. I told you, Tua,
All 5 of my
Fastest players in the
checklists get
league.
hit by the Dolphins.
fastest players in the league. They're gonna put up. They're actually decently close to what you consider the Oilers to be, just in the terms of they are so much offense. You have a
like
quarterback.
offense.
Pardon?
I do like offense.
Offense is good. You have a quarterback who in college they said most guys can hit, a door from a long ways. The good ones can hit a door handle. Tua could hit the keyhole. He learned how to take falls, just like wrestling. So he's don't worry about the
You're
head
in.
injuries anymore.
He's very good at hitting the ground.
He doesn't hit the ground very often, but when he does,
He knows how to
he's
do it.
very good at it.
He's out for weeks.
No, that was old news. That was old news.
Watch me drag this bit out over the course of the summer. I
Also,
will have. Go ahead.
Home games.
Yep.
Our bench always in the shade for the afternoon game.
Smart.
Their bench always in the sun.
Smart.
To the point where they have to bring their own shade. They're not very good at it. Other teams can't handle the heat. They start vomiting. They cramp up. They can't keep up.
All right.
We're going to win the division this year.
Dolphins are in the mix.
Worst division in the league. No kidding.
I want to talk about some betting, though.
I'm just like, who's in your division again?
All the good teams. Anyway, Bet365.
Bet365, the betting segment is brought to you by our friends at Bet365, a proud partner of Oilers Nation Radio. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code OILYBONUS. Use the promo code OILYBONUS. I'm going to start off this week's betting segment with a look at the Olympics. We were just watching the opening ceremonies before we started recording. Gentlemen, Canada's gold medal total is set at 5.5.
Ooh.
Take the over.
Over minus 150. Under plus 110.
Minus 150. They don't even. Why put the over under at 5.5 if your over is going to be minus 150? That's at least 6.5 then to get back to a pick'em. That's silly.
Dan, how do we feel about Canada going over 5.5 medals?
You got to go over. That program of excellence is all about getting them golds.
Liam?
Oh, it's an interesting debate.
Over.
Because in 2016, they only got 4. But 2020, they got 7. I mean, you would hope for more improvement. So I'll go over. I'll say they get 9.
I would also go the over. I'm saying double digits.
I'll say 7.
4 to 7 to 10. Whoa. Let's go. Back to the Oilers. Here's a delicious one for you. Our friend of everyone, soon to be married man, Connor McDavid, over 129.5 points. Over minus 110, under minus 110.
Back to a pick'em. That's what your over under should be. Is a pick'em. It's over.
Last 2 seasons, he has cleared 130 points.
Over.
Think he does it for a third time.
Over.
Over.
Always over with
We are
Connor.
sweeping the over. We're going to play Guess That Line. Edmonton Oilers to win the Pacific Division. Dan, guess that line.
Minus 130.
Minus 150.
They're plus 800 to win the cup.
Mm-hmm.
And who's in our division?
Vegas.
Shit teams.
Yeah,
Vegas and Vancouver.
I don't even know if you can call it a pick'em.
Nobody else.
Man, it's not even. It can't even be a plus. It's got to be like 120, 125 minus.
Plus 125 is the line on the Oilers to win the Pacific Division.
Who's second? Vegas at plus 250 or something?
Actually, second is the Vancouver Canucks at plus 250.
Wow.
How about this one? Do we end the drought in 2024-25? The Canadian Cup drought. Canada to win the Stanley Cup. Guess that line.
How many years has it been, Baggedmilk? Do you remember the ad read?
1993.
It's
It's been 30 years since Canada's teams won hockey's ultimate prize.
I say no.
I say yes. But did they give us
Playing Guess That Line.
Yeah, guess the line.
Guess that line, Dan.
I'm curious how this is going to work.
Canada to win the Stanley Cup.
Oh,
Liam,
my God.
do you have a guess on the line for Canada to win? Jeopardy music inserted
Plus
here.
200.
Liam's in at plus 200.
Plus 550.
Dan's going plus 550.
I'm really confused because the Oilers are plus 800 to win.
Oh, you're guessing, Rick.
They are plus 800 to win the Cup.
There is not another Canadian team ahead of them.
Nope. There's not another team ahead of them.
But
Fair.
the field is full
So
of...
how do the other team?
Because the field is full of America.
Let's go with plus 500.
Canada to win the Stanley Cup plus 260.
Jeez.
Liam wins. The Price is Right. Guess that line.
Someone's got to explain the math behind that.
That's such a bad line.
I
That's
don't
such
like
a
the
hard
line either, if
line to
I'm
have to
being honest.
bet on, yeah.
Open up account today with Bet365. Bet on a huge range
Does
of
it
markets.
make
Whatever the
sense to
sport.
get that much better to the even number? Like you have one team at plus 800.
it
The
doesn't
rest
make
are
sense.
worse.
Don't
You think it would take you away from the plus 800?
like closer to
Further away than
worse odds, lesser
Yes.
odds, yes,
Right?
should in theory, but I think that what that tells you is that the public is betting on Canada.
Just that one individual bet as opposed to that. All right, whatever.
Open an account Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code OILYBONUS, OILYBONUS, OILYBONUS.
You want one NFL bet?
Go ahead.
Over 8.5 touchdowns for Derrick Henry this year. Take it.
The kid I went to high school with?
Yep.
That allegedly burned down the auction mart?
Should have paid attention to him. King Henry, over 8.5 touchdowns this year.
Who did he play for?
Baltimore.
All right.
Whose running backs always get injured.
J.K. Dobbins gets injured because J.K. Dobbins gets injured.
Baltimore wasn't really in my contention
Gus
list, if I'm
Edwards
being honest.
is rarely injured.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Although, I
you got
do
perhaps the
like
two best runners in the league.
they have 3 mascots. They're greedy in Baltimore. Edgar
Baltimore?
Allan and Poe.
The best part about Baltimore is they're like early 2000s teams.
Do they still have the band there?
No.
They got rid of the band?
Leafs.
They had a band?
The Baltimore Colts had a band, and then when they took away the team, the band kept playing and then stayed with the
Like
Ravens.
the Titanic?
There's a 30 for 30 about it. But yes, just like the Titanic.
Similar to the Titanic.
They just kept playing in the city square.
Listen, you know what I mean.
Yep.
Couple of Ask the Idiots questions here, fellas.
Crazy.
Oh, Rick, we're running late here, Rick. We're
We're
gonna
at
rip through
59
these.
minutes and 52 seconds.
We're gonna rip through these, Rick.
Such a minute fast. Slow.
That's confusing.
For the Oilers Nation Open, we're almost sold out. Go to nationgear.ca, submit a team, submit as an individual. We are running out of space here, people. I tell you every week it's going to sell out, and you don't listen, do you? Procrastination is not your friend here. Nationgear.ca. We're raising some money for Gregor's grads. It's always a great time. I'm going to watch him cry. I'm going to enjoy it. Rick, I'm going to start with you. This question comes in from Landon. If you had to convince a casual hockey fan to follow a team that's not the Oilers and make it interesting enough that they might do it, which team would you pick?
You just said interesting.
Mhm.
Who can I see have the biggest fall from grace? Because that would be interesting.
I'll
It
go.
would be like watching a Nashville. I think, honestly, it's something like Toronto.
I think going with a team like Columbus would be interesting because they're always a disaster. They're
That's-
always a train wreck in one way or another.
But it's always gray. That's not going to be interesting. So if you're like a Leafs, if you jump on the Leafs bandwagon,
Yeah, go ahead.
their fans are going to tell you they're the greatest thing in the world.
That is true.
You're going to see some plays out there. Sometimes you're like, oh my Lord, it's the Globetrotters on ice.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, you're going to be upset. That
gonna-
is going to be
They
interesting
are going to get kicked out in the first round.
if they make it.
Liam?
Utah. I think they're kind of going in an interesting direction right now, and I don't, quite frankly, know which way it's going to go.
They don't even have a name.
They don't have a name.
Hilarious money grab where, hey, buy Utah HC jersey
Buy it this year, so next year you can buy the different one.
with different colors and a different
Hello.
logo. Dan, who's the most interesting team a non-Oilers fan could follow?
I would suggest that people get in early on the new Arizona hockey team. I think that there's one coming back in the next 5 years. We've already got the Suns owner beaking about how he wanted to be able to purchase a hockey team. So I think you should just get on board with the Arizona
So the
hockey
Suns
team.
owner wants a team?
He apparently
Yet the
tried
Suns owner said the team that's playing here right now can't play in my arena?
Yes. Apparently he
Murillo.
he
People are
tried to.
really
Well,
interesting.
that's unfortunately Alex Murillo is the real catalyst. I think it's turned
he's
out
gone now.
afterwards that was the reason as to why Arizona hockey didn't work. He was picking fights with everybody. Like he lost that.
But
whole,
didn't he only come, wasn't, so how long were they were around for 25 years, almost 30 years?
96 or
Yes.
something.
Almost 30 years?
Yeah.
And
He's
seven
coming
owners?
in the last little bit.
Yeah, so he
But
was
he's the one that's been picking the fights
most recently.
once
yeah,
the city started to figure out that there might actually be something
Yeah,
that
he
they
did
could
see
pull out of
he
this.
acted like the BlackBerry guy.
Yeah. And so you just pissed off a lot of people. But I think you're going to have Arizona coming back into the mix here pretty soon. And what a hell of a city to be able to visit. You guys have already had a chance to.
I would love to go
Lots of
back
fun.
there. I don't see it happening.
No, I don't. Yeah. Dan, I'm going to start with you. This one comes in from our boy Dukes. Would you be on board with away teams being able to wear their home jerseys if there was no clash of colors? As an example, like they do it in the English Premier League. Imagine the Battle of Alberta with the Flames wearing red and the Oilers wearing blue and orange.
I mean, like anybody that's played the video game version of hockey, I think we've tried this before. It does become an issue, I think, for the players more than anything, and I think that would be the final say on it. But I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the yellow and the green that we used to see back in the day with the Kings, where they would wear their yellow jersey sometimes on the road. So, yeah, I'd like to see some color.
Would you like to see the option, Liam, of them going even with the homes, even
Yeah.
on the road, if the colors don't clash?
Yes, I think it's good to show off your colors, your iconic colors of what no one thinks of teams in white. You don't
No,
think
they
of
don't.
Toronto in white or Montreal in white. You think of the red and blue and like the iconic.
Winnipeg's not gonna like you.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I was talking about this.
But
with Aaron
it's
before.
funny, though.
All my teams I've ever cheered for until I came to Canada played in white.
Yeah, I am definitely for this, by the way. It is really weird to me that teams would still do like a whiteout
Yeah.
when they're wearing dark
wearing-
and the other
yeah.
team's wearing white, or Calgary's doing a sea of red.
But the mentality of the whiteout there is that
They
then
just
it's
didn't adapt.
everybody
didn't
in
adapt.
the
When
It
right
should
color.
have been the Blue Boys or whatever.
When
they were.
Tamu was there and they were doing the whiteout,
Made
that
sense.
was incredible.
Awesome.
That
Yeah.
looked awesome.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'm all for it. If the colors don't clash, I think you should be allowed to pick. Quite frankly, the home jerseys are always more interesting anyway. And if you're old enough, you remember in the 90s or
whites
before
were
that, the
home.
whites were always the home.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was actually in soccer, like Duke's mentioned, they even go to
Soccer's
the
even
extent
weirder.
of changing short colors so they don't clash with other teams.
Well, and also soccer has kits that like you can have color schemes that have
Yeah.
nothing to do with your team ever before that moment.
But it's
kind of thing.
ridiculous.
Like, yeah.
Manchester, what's their team name?
United,
Well, yeah, what's their
The
team
Red
name?
Devils.
the Red Devils,
So who?
the
What color
Red
Devils?
Red.
They just announced their jersey, their road jersey this year is blue.
They always wear blue.
Not all the time, but
Their
they've had
road jerseys are
yes,
always blue.
And when you think of
the
EPL,
emo
you
version.
think of
Different
blue.
blue.
But when you think EPL and you think blue,
Chelsea.
you think City and Chelsea. It makes no
Everton.
sense to me. Okay, fine, but
Ipswich.
they're not in the same thing. Well, I don't even know that was a team.
Final question coming to you in the middle, Liam, presented by the Oilersnation Open. You only get one Slurpee flavor for the rest of your life.
Oh,
What is it?
Simple,
Dr. Pepper
Dr. Pepper, eh?
crazy.
is unbelievable.
Just cola. Or just
No,
Pepsi
no,
or
no,
Coke.
No.
Pepsi or Coke, whichever one's darker.
Fair.
Rick, only get one flavor.
First of all, it's got to be 7-Eleven Slurpees because Slurpees are top of them all. The rest of them are drinkable, and it's Pepsi or Coke, whatever you got. Don't bother me.
Yeah, Pepsi or Coke for me too. Dr. Pepper, eh?
Yeah,
You love the 23 flavors.
You regretting that?
exactly.
Feels like you're regretting it a
how
little
many
bit.
other drinks are you getting where you get 23 flavors in one?
And one of them is prune juice.
I love prune juice.
That's why, for some people, Dr. Pepper acts as a healthy laxative.
Me-
Something to consider.
Yep.
Before we just wrap up Hot Cold Performers, the thing I want to get to the most is we just launched last night a tea in support of what's going on in Jasper. We have partnered up with our friends at Tourism Jasper and some of the partners that we work with in Jasper to raise some money. So we have set up a support tea that where all the net proceeds from the t-shirt will go to the Jasper Community Team Society, or you can go to the nationgear.ca website. You can buy a tea there, or you could just make a straight donation. And the donations all are going to be, again, going to the Jasper Community Team Society. Or if you buy a t-shirt, all the net proceeds from the t-shirt go to them as well. They're going to help with what is happening in Jasper. Just an absolutely fucking horrible situation.
Awful.
Some of the the pictures and the videos, it looks like hell.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not good that anything gets burnt down, but I think what makes it even worse is that it sounds like a lot of the homes are the ones that were damaged.
Yeah.
Which makes it just that makes it even worse.
Some of the videos you saw, it was just like neighborhoods were just
Leveled.
flat
Yeah.
to the ground.
It honestly looked like, so I lived very north side during 89 was the tornado, and we went and apparently you look at messes afterwards, so we went and looked at the mess afterwards, and they look very similar.
It reminded me of, we used to have a lake lot on the other side of Slave Lake, which had this happen in 2011 or 12, I think. And I just remember being super eerie, and just, it reminds me of that. And I know Fort McMurray had a handful of years ago too. So if you want to help us out, we are doing the t-shirt in support of the Jasper Community Team Society. You can also, like I said, make a straight donation at nationgear.ca. That goes straight to them as well. So we're working with our friends at Tourism Jasper to kind of allocate the dollars to the best place, and that's what they recommended. So if you want to help us out, you can do that in a couple of different ways, the t-shirt and the donation. Or if you can't make that work, totally understandable, help us by sharing the link on your socials and spreading the word and raising the awareness on that. Time to wrap up the podcast, gentlemen. Nationgear.ca. Go make a donation to what we're trying to do for Jasper, for the Jasper Community Team Society. So we're going to do hot and cold performers for them. We're going to start off with our veggies as we always do. Dan, I'm going to push buttons. I don't know that I'll hear a sound.
We don't know if the buttons are going to work, by the way, so it might
We
be
don't
a
have
noise.
speakers
It might
in
just be
It might be nothing.
Silence.
Or maybe I'll be a little rascal and I'll push the wrong buttons at the wrong times.
I like
Who
it.
knows? Nation Dan, you were up first. Your cold performer of the week.
Well, for those of the listeners that haven't been following along with this story, this one's going to seem a little stale, but it's going to go out to the guy named Max Chambers, the guy who's created this 3-on-3 hockey league that we heard about in April from Steve Dangle and a couple other reporters that then they quickly retracted. But this league continues to kind of create stories and create steam behind it. I've been doing a little bit of diving on it myself. It's nonsense. It's all made up. We're not getting a 3-on-3 league. We're not getting a 16-team 3-on-3 league. It's just not going to happen. So Max Chambers, for continuing this lie, you get my cold performer of the week.
Worse.
Liam, cold performer of the week. I think.
This still might be going on too, by the way. We
Could
have
be.
no idea.
The button turned off. So
It
I
could
don't
have been
think so.
Jones Barbecue Foot Massage. We don't know.
That's on the other roadcast.
Thank goodness. I mean, Jasper was going to be my main one, but I think I'm going to go with a nice generic the weather. And that is not being lazy. That is just the fact of it was 35 degrees 3 days ago.
I much
now
prefer the 35.
It is just gloomy. I like rain. I just don't like the gloom.
Oh, that's cold.
All right, the button turned off, I think.
A nice sun shower you like then?
Yeah,
I
give me
love a
some
sun shower.
sunshine.
Rick, you are up. Cold performer of the week.
I know I'm not the target audience, and I know you're watching it there before the show, but the whole Olympic pre-show, the whole that stuff's not for me. Yeah,
Well, Huey's
it's
the
good
target
lord.
audience.
I don't know, but it ain't me.
It was long.
I believe it's the family members of the athletes.
Boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Button's still on. There we go. Rick, I'm coming back to you because I know you got to go. Oh, my cold performer of the week is the embarrassing Canada drone story.
Oh,
I couldn't think of a more embarrassing start for Canadian soccer to kick off the Olympics. So, just I don't know. How much could you really learn watching someone else's practice too? That's what I
nothing.
didn't
Nothing.
understand it. Okay, Rick, we're coming back to you. I know you got to go. Hot performer of the week. Let's wrap it up with some positives.
The Tua contract. Finally, that's not the last piece of the thing we had to deal with, but Tua's dealt with. Now we go to Tyreek and we get on with the season. Let's go.
He's a hot guy.
He's a hot guy. There's Rick. Rick can make his way out.
Bye, Rick.
Got to work. He's got a job to do.
My hot performer of the week. It was actually the one I forgot about last week.
Oh, yeah,
I
the number
remembered,
14.
I wrote it down.
Oh, yeah, you wrote it on the board.
Oh,
So
I got it
last
to you.
Thursday
It's cryptic.
was my 14th year anniversary of moving to Canada. So my hot performer is my mum and dad for moving me to Canada.
Woo! Friday, baby! Yeah, let's celebrate Friday! Woo!
Oh,
Is that an intro?
I don't know. It was a long one, though. Nation Dan,
right.
you're up. Hot performer of the week.
I'm going to just give it out to all the non-Oiler fans who are having a blast with our redemption tour, so to speak, of hires. All the jokes that are flying around. I've seen P. Diddy coming on to the team. Harvey Weinstein's coming as our community relations manager. And Bev Priestman is going to be our drone coach. So just non-Oiler fans for having a blast at the fact that we want to bring in every reclamation project.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
I hope these buttons are working. Otherwise, we're just sitting here in silence. My hot performer of the week, you know what? The fact that it's raining. We need some.
Yeah, it is helpful.
It was very hot. I love the plus 35 weather. I love the heat. I do, but, after a run of 10 days of it,
Yeah.
getting some rain was very, very nice. My house was cooler. Yeah. My dog wasn't constantly panting. I'm wearing a hoodie, not because the studio is so cold as it usually is, but just because it feels nice. So a little shift in the weather, albeit probably temporarily. I will take it as my hot performer of the week.
Put some respect on my name.
All right, there you go. Podcast in the books. One last reminder, go to nationgear.ca. Help us out with the Jasper support tees where all the proceeds are going to the Jasper Community Team Society. Again, you could also make a donation there. And if you can't, understandable, help us out by spreading the word, sharing the link on your socials. Just helping us create some awareness is more than doing enough. So any final thoughts, boys?
No.
Go Canada, not drones.
Go
Yeah,
drones.
Enjoy the Olympics.
Enjoy the Olympics.
Yeah.
They came in on a boat.
I hope all the countries have fun, except for the Vatican City.
You aren't going.
that can send the Pope or something. Like you'd run an event.
Just as security. They're so good at
Their
the
boat
shooting.
could have just been like the Pope mobile, but like boat version, and they're all in like that glass case.
Who's to say that isn't an amphibious vehicle?
Listen, I can't prove it's not.
Just
Something
like
to think about.
Just like the Homer.
Something to think about. Oh, another honorary cold performer of the week. There's a meme going around where the Oscar Mayer Wiener car was flipped on a freeway somewhere.
Rest in
Very
peace.
sad. Also, third cold performer of the week. Still haven't heard back from the Mascot Hall of Fame.
That's true.
No, we have not.
Been waiting.
We've been waiting.
Secondary hot performer of the week. Listen to Better Late Than Never just to hear the audio of Waz shopping for office snacks at the dollar store. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. We could have had Reese Puffs, but instead we got an aloe vera drink and saltines.
Don't forget the can of coconut milk.
Well, you never know when we're going to fire up a curry. I do love a curry.
Me too.
You can't drink coconut milk. It's not what it's for. It's coconut water you drink. Anyway, Lisa, that one's for you. Have a great weekend, everybody.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.